Well, hello everyone. I'm Jill Bloom, publisher of Roofing Contractor, and I'm so glad you're here. Whether you're watching or listening, welcome to a very special Q&A. Rick Damato, the editorial director of Roofing Contractor, and I are your hosts, and we are so honored to have with us today David Workman, the CEO of RoofConnect, and Wade Crosswhite, the president of RoofConnect. And gosh, David has been in the industry now for 17 years with RoofConnect and very well respected in the industry. And Wade for 14 years, it sounds like. So gentlemen, both of you, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate you taking time out of your day to speak with us and learn more about our company.
Oh, absolutely. Well, one thing that we have to start with, because there's so much to talk about with you guys. But I just read on LinkedIn that you posted, David, that RoofConnect was just awarded the Grant County Business of the Year Award. And first of all, congratulations. And can you tell us, what is that all about?
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was quite an honor for us. If you look up Grant County, you'll find it's not a huge county, but this is home for us, and it's home for Wade, and it's home for many of our senior management. And several years ago, when I had the opportunity to take the reins here at RoofConnect in 2006, we were able to move to my hometown. And there were a couple of times in my growing up in the industry that I almost moved to places like Fort Lauderdale or Indianapolis or Atlanta. And somehow, by the grace of God, I was able to stay here in Arkansas, which to some might not be by the grace of God, but to me it is. It's a great place to live and grow up. And so we were able to move back to our hometown and build 2 buildings here and have over 40 people who work for us here in Arkansas, in Grant County, Arkansas. So it was quite an honor to be recognized in your own town. So we really enjoyed that recognition, and we're glad we're able to make a difference in our community and with our employees that we have here that don't have to travel the 30 miles to Little Rock to go to work. They can work right here in small Sheridan.
Well, that's just fabulous. I mean, again, congratulations. But let's start from the beginning. And David, I'd like to start with you. Tell us, how did you get started in the roofing industry?
Well, I aspired from growing up to want to be in the roofing industry. And so that's not true at all. Just like most people, you somehow finds you. I started out as a forklift mechanic out of high school. And I had a really good mentor who kept asking me why my wife was going to school at night and I was not doing anything at night. Whether you want to be a forklift technician the rest of your life or you want to do something else, you should always be getting your education, be getting better. And so I took that to heart, and I guess he saw something in me that kind of drove me to do some different things. And so I graduated college at 30 years old. And I was just finishing my degree in December of 97, I believe it was. And I had gone to church with a gentleman who contacted me and said, I hear that you know how to do AutoCAD. And I learned AutoCAD in college. And so I did know how to do AutoCAD. And he said, well, I want to hire you. He said, I'm starting this rep. I'm a new rep for a company called Firestone, and I want to hire you to be an AutoCAD operator. And I said, okay, so this, is this tires? And he's like, no, it's roofing. And I'm, oh, that's worse. I don't know. I mean, tires, at least I knew, I'd heard the name Firestone Tires. Is it the same Firestone? Yeah. So I said, secondly, I don't like to work on AutoCAD. I just hate it. And he said, well, I got to fill this position with my commitment to Firestone. So if you just come and you could be that person and you could do it until I can find somebody else. So I reluctantly went to work for him and said, maybe 6 months I'll do this. And, while I'm searching for a job in corporate America, which was my goal. And I learned a lot about the industry really quickly. And I worked into a position in national accounts, working both for Firestone and the rep firm, calling on local accounts in the area. And as I did that, I got to build some corporate relationships, and I got to know a few of Firestone's management team who decided to pursue an opportunity with this startup new company called General Roofing. So that was my first potential move. They hired me as a national account rep, and we only had like 2 or 3. We had absolutely no marketing material at all. Had 30 offices, go sell roofing. And they were going to move me to Fort Lauderdale. And we had 1 child and 1 on the way. And my wife was less than excited about moving to Fort Lauderdale, where we knew no one, but felt like that was what I should do. So I took the job. And they called me about a week after I started and said, well, maybe we'll move you to Atlanta. Would that be better? I'm like, absolutely. 8 hours closer. Perfect. So a week later, they called me and said, we're going to leave you here. We're going to leave you in Arkansas. You have an office space. I didn't, but I absolutely said I did. I have an office space, no problem. So I moved into an old house that belonged to my grandmother, and that was my first office. And I worked for them for several years up until the bankruptcy. Absolutely loved what I did. We built a great book of business. And then you can imagine the bankruptcy was quite a mess. And it was really a decision in my career that I had to decide where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. Did I want to stay in the industry? Did I want to work for a manufacturer from a sales perspective? Because you had offices all across the country and there's a need. Rick, you'll remember Pagnato and Pagnato. I mean, we kind of came in right behind that big move and were able to really pick up service business because there just wasn't a national service provider out there. So I got to looking at this startup company called RoofConnect, and I really loved the fact that it was a national company where we didn't own any companies, but it was companies that would, could fulfill a real national network. And I thought how great that would be for my customers, because many times we may be going to another state or 2-3 states over just to take care of them on a service issue. So I joined them in 2004 after the bankruptcy, and I'd met my predecessor at the IRE in 2004, and I went to work for them in July, roughly 2004. And I brought Eric Harrison with me, and Eric's still a part of our team today. I brought Eric with me, and then there were a couple other people that we had hired on a more of a temporary basis that we were able to bring by the end of the year. And we went from a little $30,000 company to a $10 million company in about 6 months. My predecessor had an opportunity to go do something else, and he pursued that, and it kind of left me here and trying to figure out where we wanted to go with the business, what we wanted to do. And just as things progressed, I was able to convince our board at the time that I had a plan to operate it, and here's what I would do if I was given the opportunity to take it on. And so they granted me that in 2006. We've been growing ever since. 2010, I became a shareholder here. So I'm one of the owners of the business, and we've just had a great ride. And one of the most important things about where we're at today is just the people around us. I've got some incredible people here that have been here, for 15, 17 years like me. We've been able to really get some continuity in our staff and really develop a culture that's really been incredible.
Was there like a statement? Was there like a mission statement that you had at the very beginning? And can you tell me where that came from?
I think the mission was originally whether it was service or capital work, was to bring the members of RoofConnect opportunity that they might not have in their local market, because it was so many people were emerging as players in their local markets and taking work away from them. This was a way that they could participate in something bigger than just being a local contractor and have opportunities to service. To both do leak repair service and capital projects on a national basis.
David and Wade, thanks for joining us for this little chat, and thanks to our listeners and viewers out there. Interesting story. Everybody gets into this industry somehow. And glad you're here, obviously, as are a lot of your constituents. Wade, tell us about yourself. How'd you get in this business?
I was actually in public accounting. I worked in a couple of firms, but I was at PricewaterhouseCoopers, which at the time was the largest accounting firm in the world. And I had 2 small children, and I was traveling all the time and working absurd hours and just really hated it. And David had just recently taken over RoofConnect, and I really didn't even know David at the time. We both come from the same small town. It was ironic that we didn't know each other really, but there was a guy named Eric that was working for David, kind of his right-hand man, and me and him were friends, and they started talking about they were going to hire a CFO. And well, at the time it was a controller, and I was like, I want it. I can get off the road and just kind of relax and spend more time with my kids. And I never dreamed that I would stay. Had no intentions of staying long term. The company was a lot different back then. That was in 07, the first of 07. And David was having me tell him what the cash balance was every day. But then I fell in love with the business model once I figured it out. And then after a while, I became CFO. And then I can remember I used to complain about the sales efforts. And finally, one day, David's like, well, why don't you take it over? And I ended up taking over the sales and then moving up to vice president of sales, and then now recently promoted to president. So I've touched about every part of the business at this point.
And it's been interesting over the years. I've had people that would try to get on here or, want to come in a leadership position, and they would read Wade's bio and they would kind of attack him a little bit and go, you really got a guy leading your sales team that's a CFO. And I think the cool thing about that is Wade's got such a great financial understanding of our business. You can sell all day long, but unless you're making money, you're not going to stay in business. And Wade understands that. And he understands how important collections are. And he understands the whole entire package of our business. So it was such a great fit that you wouldn't normally, Wade's probably not your normal CFO from a personality standpoint, but it worked great for us.
What was the emphasis for the beginning of RoofConnect, and how did it start?
The original founders that, kind of sit down at RCA conventions, and we're talking about the competition. They were talking about, I lost this roof to XYZ company, or I lost this roof to so-and-so. And how do we do something that's bigger than us? And so it really started with the roofing contractors. I mean, it started literally IRE, napkin. There are a lot of key people, and I hate always dropping names because I'll leave out, key people that were very much a part of this in the very beginning. But, there were really a couple that really stuck out to me just because I worked with them so much when I came on. Tim Rainey was huge here. He really, I think the idea kind of just died a little bit at one point, and he went out on his own dime and flew around to see people and convinced them that this was an effort worth undertaking. I worked with him and have for years very closely, great advisor to me. Johnny Zamerzal in California has been another one. He's just been a great mentor to me, put a lot of his own time and effort and money into this to get it started. I remember one time we were like, I think he gave us a copier we had, and we, just because we needed something. And, those were great influences to me. And then over the years, I got to work with guys like Conrad Kowalik from B&M Roofing very closely. Got to work with Dave Pastor from Upstate Roofing and Painting, and just got to work with a lot of different styles of leadership and people who really believed in me, the team, and what we were doing, and just very blessed. I've had a lot of great people, but it all came from the roofing contractor community. It was their idea. And now today I work with some other great people on my board currently. I've got several people that people in the industry would know. Rob Canarins from Advanced Roofing is currently serving on our board.
Of the original members that you had, how many are still in the business with you?
Haven't counted that. If I had to guess, I'd say maybe half. The challenge with our organization is, we are here to service the national roofing market. And what I tell a client when I'm talking to a client is, it is our job at RoofConnect to know which contractor to put you with. And if you have a certain type of project, it might not fit our member well. It might fit somebody else that we've associated with or got to know over the years that becomes a strategic partner of ours. It may be a better fit for that strategic partner. It doesn't mean that our member won't still get work in a lot of other categories, but we really, to the customer, our job is to bring the right labor solution to the challenge that we have ahead of us.
Since you came in, David, there have been a few things that were challenging in the business. Great recession. We had a couple of market downturns. We had a pandemic recently.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things that have really added value to your clients and your contractors from the unique affiliation that is RoofConnect during those kind of times?
I think just, no matter what's going on, is being able to adapt to what their needs are at the time. I'll start with the most recent in my memory is the pandemic. So in March, we do a lot of work in the retail segment. In March, their doors are closed. In April, so we've got to pivot. And obviously we've got to, my goal when we hit the pandemic was, let's not lose anybody. Let's keep all of our staff together and let's get better. And so we really pivoted as a company on training and sales training and other things, management training, things that would make us better and learn how to do different things, to do things differently through Zooms, Teams, whatever, to sell and continue to be in front of our customers. And then for us, different vertical markets have been the key to our success, being able to navigate some of those times. But, for us, it's just about, no matter what you're going through, you've got to learn quickly what your client needs, how you can service your client, and what kind of restrictions they're going to have. And then on the contractor side, be able to communicate to them, this is what the client needs. We've got to get you to these are the conditions, these are requirements. This is what you got to do when you show up. So it's an education. It's education for us. It's an education for them to learn how to best serve a client, no matter what the situation is. Wade, do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I don't know that there's much. I think, one of the things that we did, David stressed, is during the pandemic when everything was shutting down, we kept the doors open, obviously, and we focused on education, and we went through management training and all those things. So, and we really, from our management style, we really drove home, the accountability, and we were on calls every day, and we certainly did not cash in and go home. So
yeah, for us, the capital work is back, and we've got a lot of it, and certainly some challenges right now with materials, but we do have the backlog there. Once the supply chain can continue to open up, we've got a really good backlog. And then the service side, it's still rebuilding, because people are just starting to get back in buildings and thinking about maintenance again. And so that's kind of building back up. But yes, we've been able to see some light and see some people confident in moving forward with some things again.
Wade, RoofConnect, is it mostly just a consortium of roofing contractors as a sales vehicle to connect them to the clients, or is it also an operational mechanism that connects them to each other?
Sales and marketing arm for them to bring, like David said, national work there. And now we've obviously evolved where we have programs as far as roof asset management, where we really help through some of the data. Because if you think about the amount of, we do 15,000 leak calls a year. So we see more roofs, and we house all that information, from warranty information to the defects information to the aging of the roofs. So we have so much data. We're able to help our clients extend the life of their roof just by proactive maintenance and being informed. And with the information we have, we're really able to help them make better decisions. And so we'll even, help prioritize their budgets and things like that. But for the most part, we are sales and marketing. And, the story I always heard was once what we call centralized dispatching really started to happen in the late 90s, meaning that Walmart in San Diego, the roof leak is called in by somebody in Bentonville, Arkansas, right? And so the local roofers were at such a disadvantage to get national work when the retail world went to that centralized dispatching. And so somebody like, David coming from General Roofing, the contractors could sell their company out to that. But most of them didn't want to sell out, but they still wanted the national roofing. And we were, the answer to that, to fit all those needs was RoofConnect, we felt like.
So all of your members plug into the same network that's controlled there in your shop in Sheridan?
Everything that we touch comes through here, and the sales effort, and it's all brought through here. So really we act as one national company. And in terms of dispatching and working with our contractors, we don't just give them a local contact and say, or a local regional contact and say, go work with this client. We're going to facilitate everything. So we're going to take it all here. We're going to put them together, make sure that everything gets done, all the way from the first call through project management through the end of the project, whatever that may be, whether it's service but we have to control that information back to the client. And that's so key to what we do to perform. So Wade, you may have wanted to add on to that.
Yeah, just to add to it though, is the metrics we build is we have contractor scorecards. So we know, who has the best response time. We have the pricing matrix of who's most competitive, who has the, quality, least repeat calls. And then we do a lot of stuff, from the manufacturer. We've got a lot of information that would be very valuable out in the open market, but that we're able to house right here. And so we can see, what the average life expectancy of a roof in South Carolina is going to be compared to Hawaii and vice versa. And so it's pretty cool what the library of information we've built and how it can help our customers. So
When we get information, our job is to match the client with the best possible solution. And that's how we all win. That's how all our original members that are still involved, how new members, how strategic partners that we bring in, everybody wins if we do that. Because that's the way you have to keep your reputation alive. And we know what happens when your reputation is damaged.
Give us an idea of the scale uh, of RoofConnect. How many contractor shops do you have to dispatch from? And what kind of scale, what kind of revenues are you looking at for this year?
Contractor numbers, anybody can put anything on a website. We can say we work with 300, whatever. To us, it's about the quality and making sure that we have the geographic coverage that we need in our contractor base. Wade, what do you say? 200 probably in the contractor database that we would call on maybe somewhere, sometime. Again, it's all about the fit. So to me, it's not as important as the number if you've got the right strategic location and the right partner. So I would say roughly around 200. From a revenue standpoint, we typically haven't reported our numbers in the marketplace just because so many of them aren't true that are reported. But we hit over the 100 million mark a year or so ago, and we're continuing to grow off of that going forward. So, Wade, do you want to add anything to that?
yeah, I mean, I think 19 was the year we went over 100 million, and then 20 we got right up to it. So which we thought was a really a win considering everything. We were really set for 20 to be our best year, and we're projecting right now. We've been in meetings this week, but we're projecting around 125 million in revenue this year. So the growth has been really remarkable over the last couple of years.
Obviously, Wade, you're driving sales. Your focus now, David, is going to be the contractor side. Is it developing that base? Tell me about that. But tell me, you have some drop out every year. I'm sure you have some come in every year. Tell us how that process works, and also who's that contractor that really fits your profile.
So my focus is really, I'm getting back to what I really enjoy, and that's business development. I really enjoy talking to clients. I really enjoy trying to do that. Although I've admitted to Wade, it's harder than I remember in a new age and trying to reach people differently. The overall business and supporting Wade, his team, I've got a great, we haven't talked about departments, but we got a VP of operations, and he works and his team work closely with I got a lady named Teresa Webb that's been here with me most of our time here at RoofConnect. She works on contractor scorecards and contractor metrics, and she's kind of our fixer. If there's an issue, she fixes it. And so, my job is really just to try to support that whole operation. Certainly speaking with contractors when I need to, when she needs some assistance or operations needs assistance. It's to me, it's the opportunity to step back and help them support the initiatives that we see as a company that we need to take on. I mean, we're doing some pretty cool things right now with technology. So that's taken all of our time to really focus on, what that next step looks like for us from a technology standpoint. Working with contractors, we're not, unless we have a need, and we always are interested in the contractor if it makes sense. But we haven't added any to our membership anymore in terms of quote unquote members, because the members have an ownership with us. And so we just don't want to complicate that any further because we've grown so much. So, but we bring in strategic partners often to help us. And we treat a partner the same way we do a member. We're going to give them a scorecard. We're going to work with them. We're going to, they're a valued part of our business. So we're not really growing, and we grow as we need to grow, but we really focus on the quality of what we have.
Just so I understand, a strategic partner and a member, the difference is ownership.
Right.
But you would look to a strategic partner to get that one job done in the upper northwest corner of North Dakota.
Right. Or it could be, and it could be supporting a member in an area where they're not good at something a customer needs, or maybe they're, nobody has infinite capacity. So if somebody's booked up and can't get to it, we've got to be able to go next. And so we've built that wide database, and we've protected the original members by, having an ownership position along with myself. And so, but to add any more to that, again, we felt it was best to go strategically, and the value with their strategic partner is the business that we're able to bring them and hopefully help them get better in their business. That's what we hear often is you've helped us become a better service department by the things that we have to do to work with you.
So David, I'll start this question with you. So I always, we covered a lot of business things, but I want to talk more just personally. So who are some people in your career that have really inspired you or just been a special person that have really, I guess, helped you blaze your trail?
Well, there's been a lot. I've learned from a lot of people. I have to start with first Wade Lundy, who hired and brought me into this business. And many people may not know Wade as much on a national stage because he's a very strong regional rep for Firestone and as an independent rep, but just a great person and a great mentor to people. And so he's been a very valuable part of getting me in the industry. And then when I decided I wanted to pursue something different, he was a supporter and looking for opportunities he thought would fit me well. So you have to love somebody like that. And I've tried to replicate that in my career. But as I transitioned to RoofConnect, I'd have to say Dale Epperson, who some of you may know in the industry. He's been in a lot of GAF, a couple of different places. He was my boss here when I came here, and RoofConnect wouldn't have succeeded today without the work he did previous to me getting here. He left to pursue other opportunity, and it probably opened up some doors for me. But at the time, I really hated losing him because he was such a good friend and a mentor to me. Being here, I mentioned a couple of them already, but Johnny Zamerzal, Tim Rainey, Conrad Kowalik, and David Pastor were all different kind of leaders. And I learned so much about trying to develop my own leadership style working with those folks.
Well, Wade, I want to ask the same questions of you. You've been in the industry now for many years. Who are some of the most influential people that have been in your career?
Yeah, I probably, David's been huge for me. Just, he's always installed trust in me and kind of given me a lot of confidence. And then I had a guy named Rob Glasgow that was my boss at a previous job that was it had nothing to do with the roofing industry, but was really influential. And then Tim Rainey, I'll steal one of David's. Tim is one of those guys that I think he mentors a lot of people, but Tim's one of those guys I can talk to. It's always confidential, and you always know what Tim thinks. He's been really big to me. And then Chris Yates with GAF is a guy that over the years has kind of mentored me some. And then that would probably be Bill Bubenzer back in the early days. I don't know if y'all know Bill, but Bill's a great guy as well. So.
Another great man, a good person.
Well, both of you, we just can't tell you how honored we are to spend some time with you and learn more about RoofConnect. It's just definitely, you guys are influencers in our industry, and it's always great to catch up and just spread some good news. And if anybody has any questions about RoofConnect, what's the best way to get a hold of you guys?
Obviously, the website will give you our main number, and then our emails are really simple. My first name dot last name at roofconnect.com, and Wade's is the same, not David.Workman, but Wade.Crosswhite at roofconnect.com. So we can be reached there easily.
Oh, that's fabulous. Well, thank you again for your time. Thank you for everyone who's watching. If you have any questions, you can also reach us at roofingcontractor.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for our free e-magazine, our free e-newsletters. It's free to register for our website. And you can always stay up to date with all the great interviews that we do with people like David and Wade. And please, everyone, stay safe and healthy. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks, Jill. Thanks, Rick.
Thank you. Appreciate you having us.